The World Cup in South Africa. Can you feel it? It is here.
No, definitely. We've been waiting for Philip and he's arrived.
Well done, well done. Let's look at the Brazil formation, Mark. What can we look forward to in terms of how Brazil might line up for this opening game?
No, I mean, I think Scolari will probably go with his tried and trusted. This is a lineup that's worked for him through the past couple of years. And so he's back for, like you say, Marcelo, David Luiz, Thiago Silva, Dani Alves. I think he'll definitely keep that. Up front, again, Neymar, Fred, Hulk, and Oscar. I think that's the guys he's gone with. The only two, we've got Paulinho and Luis Gustavo, who play a holding role. But that's the only position that I'm not 100% sure about, because he's got Fernandinho from Manchester City and he's also got Ramirez from Chelsea. So he can play around there. But these two have seemed to be the two that he prefers. Paulinho is really good because he gets into the box and he gets amongst the goals as well. So this is likely the lineup that he'll go with.
You also did say a little earlier that Paulinho and Luis Gustavo would probably be playing a little bit tighter.
No, definitely. I mean, Oscar is playing kind of the number 10 role, just behind the top striker. And Luis Gustavo and Paulinho will be holding the midfield. And they'll be joining in from behind. But they are playing an essential role in just keeping the shape in the middle. Right,
and I see, let's go to Croatia's formation, see what they've got. Because they're going to be playing a very similar formation, a 4-3-3 as well.
It is a 4-3-3, but I think their formation is more likely to be more of a 4-5-1, because Eduardo and Perisic are going to be expected to track back a lot.
Oh, you're talking about number 22, number 4
22 and 4 are definitely, from there, they're gonna track back a lot. So this is going to change into a 4-5-1 formation where they'll drop into the midfield and just help out the midfield a lot.
All right, very interesting. Then when we go through to the Brazil attack, which we really are expecting to see a lot of because they've got a great firepower up front. The Brazil up front, do you think they'll be effective and in their attempts to break down the Croatian defense, and how will they do it?
No, they definitely. I mean, Brazil, obviously, they focus a lot on getting their wing backs going forward. Mm-hmm. And I think the likes of Dani Alves on the right and Marcelo on the left will definitely be looking to come around and cause problems on the wings, while the others
when the graphic comes up, we'll be able to show exactly what you're talking about here, about that Brazil attack.
I think, obviously, with Luis Gustavo and Paulinho, they're going to hold from behind and join in from behind, but we'll definitely, as we can see here, this is just an example of Dani Alves maybe overlapping. If Dani Alves overlaps, Marcelo will come in from the left-back position and they'll keep at least 3 at the back with one holding midfielder, just keeping the shape in not to allow the counter attack too much. But then we'll definitely get numbers in the box. They'll want to have enough guys in the box, causing as much problems as possible. The same thing will happen if Marcelo goes down the left. Dani Alves will just tuck in and then just keep the shape as well.
So like 6 attacking basically for Brazil.
Definitely, I think they'll have 6 attacking at any given time. But the nice thing with them is you see where Oscar and Luis Gustavo is, any one of them can just help out. They'll drop quickly, and it will obviously most likely be Luis Gustavo. If it breaks down, he'll just get back quick into defense.
Number 17.
Number 17, yeah.
Right, and then Croatia in defense for this kind of attack. Let's see what they'd be looking like. They've changed their shape slightly.
Yeah, we don't have Eduardo and Perisic, number 22 and 4 in here, but it's just to show this is the general formation. They're going to try and crowd the midfield and make sure that they don't get beaten through the middle. But Perisic and Eduardo would have so much work today because they're going to have to get up and down the wings. They're going to have to really help out in attack and in defense. So their workload is going to be quite intense today.
And they'll drop down all the way towards midfield.
Definitely, I think they'll try and crowd it as much as possible, because also Dario Serna plays on the right, and he's going to have a torrid time with Neymar, so they're going to have double cover for him. So if he does get beaten, somebody's going to have to come around and cover. So because they'll definitely focus on Neymar.
And there's these gentlemen, the Croatian, when they start attacking, which we believe they will start trying to do, what do you think is going to happen here?
Definitely. Dario Serna is a right back who also, like Dani Alves, likes to get forward. But I don't think he'll get forward as much. I think they'll generally try and keep him back, especially for Croatia. What's key today, in the first 20 minutes especially, they can't concede. And for them, the longer the game goes on at 0-0, the more it is in their favor. because I think even the crowd will start getting on Brazil's back. And the longer it goes at 0-0, the more pressure is going to be on Brazil. So they'll try and keep a solid formation for as long as possible, and they'll try and counter. You see, they'll definitely try and crowd the midfield and keep that and make sure that there's no breakaways. And I don't think Serna's going to go forward too much because he'll be afraid of Neymar's threat. If it does break down the counter-attack, he won't get up too much.
Right. And then on the left field side, would we have any forward movement at all? Or
No,
it's going to be very similar, very compact?
At the back, they're going to try and keep it as safe as possible. Like I said, the longer it goes, the better it is for them. Then Brazil might start getting desperate and throw bodies forward. And when they do that, gaps will open up in the Brazil defense, and that's what they'll be looking to exploit on the counter-attack.
So literally in attack, what do we think Croatia will be doing? How many bodies do you think they'll be having up front?
In attack, definitely they'll have Eduardo and Perisic. They're really good going forward. Then you've got the likes of Modric and Rakitic, who can cause problems. And then Kovacic in number 20. He plays for Inter Milan, and he's really good youngster coming through, and he might be one of the breakout players of this World Cup. So he'll definitely be someone to look for, and he'll get in the box as well.
And Brazil defending against this kind of formation, what do you think they'll be doing?
Brazil are really solid in defense, and I think that more than anything is what makes them contenders for this World Cup, because David Luiz and Thiago Silva, they're a strong combination at centre-back. And I think their defensive formation, when you look at Neymar, Fred, and Hulk, are not going to...
That's
too much,
number 10.
Number 10, 9, and 7. Not too much is going to be required of them defensively, because they'll kind of give them more freedom. And that's why Luis Gustavo and Paulinho in the midfield is so important, because they want them to have freedom. So as soon as they win it, they're going to try and shoot it out to their attackers so that they can get forward as quick as possible. So I think they'll keep this kind of formation, but Neymar and Hulk specifically on the wings are going to stay as high as possible, so that as soon as it breaks down, the ball can be played to them and they can get out.
Mark, looking at these tactics and formations that we think might be playing out tonight, how do you think it's playing out? Who do you think is taking this one?
I think ultimately Brazil should come through, and I think Brazil should get the win. But like I say, they need to, early on, stamp their authority. If they don't do that, the longer the game goes, the more Croatia will come into it. And Croatia have the players that can cause problems, that can punish. We all have seen Modric at Real Madrid. He's come through and he's been a pivotal player for them. Rakitic, he was with the Sevilla team who won the UEFA Cup as well. So they've got players who are competent and who can be dangerous. So Brazil, from the word go, are going to have to stamp their authority. But I do think Brazil will have enough to get past Croatia in this game.
Somebody has been saying that the technical team that Brazil has amassed is actually it's incredibly good. Some of the best coaches that you could ever dream of having. And clearly, in terms of what we've got, are we looking at a team that can go through to the quarters and then semis?
And with the technical team they have, I mean, Philippe Scolari and Carlos Alberto Pereira both won the World Cup, as coaches. And so definitely they've got the expertise, they've got the know-how, and they've got the personnel in terms of players. So they definitely are worthy contenders, and they are favourites, and they deserve to be among the favourites.
When Brazil played Serbia, they played to a 1-0 win, which was very tight. It seemed as if Serbia might even hold them to a 0-0 draw. We believe ostensibly that Serbia and Croatia have got similar styles of play, and this.
I believe that result came at the perfect time for Brazil. I think that game, because they'd been coasting prior to that. They played against I think it was Panama, and they
walloped them.
They were coasting in that game, and I think if they came into the World Cup on the back of that game, it wouldn't have been a good thing. But they played against Serbia after that, and Serbia gave them a real challenge, and I think it'll just allow them to sit back and say, hey, we need to really knuckle down and make sure that we play to the best of our abilities. The good thing about that result is they didn't play well, but they managed to get the result. And that's what champions are made of. You don't need to always play well. If you can play bad and still win a game, that counts in your favor. And it just showed they had to go route one. They played a ball into the box. Fred with beautiful control, great goal, great finish. And that's what's needed. And that makes a champion.
Now, there's been talk about Neymar taking a lot on his very narrow but, in football-wise, broad shoulders. Do you think that the team is giving him enough support for him to, on the pitch, be able to do what he does best and create magic?
I think Neymar needs to take some pressure off himself, because watching the Serbia game, I think he tried to do too much. And there's enough players around him, enough quality around him, that he doesn't need to carry the load on his own. I mean, you've got Fred, who's a proven goal scorer. He's shown up when Brazil needed him. You've got Oscar, who's a quality player, Hulk. There's enough firepower around him. He doesn't have to carry it. He just needs to go out and express himself and doesn't need to feel like he has to be the pivotal player or the key player in the team. And I think they will, if he does that, they'll do well.
Phenomenal. Mark, thank you very much. That was fantastic. I believe that you're looking forward to the game tonight?
No, definitely. It's so it's what we've been waiting for. And
nice one. We'll be flipping it all the way through to tonight. We'll be back after this very short break. Stay tuned.